Now, more than 1,000 civilians in Myanmar have died amid crackdowns on democracy protests since the military takeover in February last year. And that's even after officials agreed with ASEAN to end violence in the country. CNA spoke with Tom Andrews, the UN human rights expert who's made a week-long visit to Malaysia to understand the situation in Myanmar. And he gives his take on ASEAN's 5-point consensus to stop hostilities.
Consensus and agreement is worthless if it's only on paper. It needs to be put into action. And the foreign minister of Malaysia is calling for ASEAN to translate the 5-point consensus that it established in April of 2021 into action to see progress in this critical. And every day that goes by means that there is more death, more suffering going on in Myanmar.
Mr. Andrews also noted how children are facing horrific abuse in Myanmar.
The greatest group of people who are suffering from this crisis are the most vulnerable, Myanmar's children. And I call that losing a generation. These kids have been beaten, they've been cut, they've been stabbed, they've been burned with cigarettes, they've been forced to hold stress positions, they've been subjected to mock executions, their hair and fingernails have been pulled out. We're talking about extreme depravity here.
Mr. Andrews warns about the importance of ensuring the humanitarian aid goes to the people of Myanmar who need it instead of falling into the junta's hands.
Well, we need to make absolutely certain that humanitarian aid is used for humanitarian purposes. The junta will very likely be using humanitarian aid as a weapon of war, directing that aid in ways that will advance its military goals and political goals, and not to meet the needs of people suffering in Myanmar where they are suffering the most. So it's extremely important that the military junta not be allowed to make humanitarian aid that's designed to help a situation make a situation even worse.